Blame Truth here, and it is that time again, viewer. You see, I got a lot I want to get off my chest, alright? This video is going to be a doozy. You could do me a solid, hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. Last video got an amazing reception, an amazing response. I think it's sitting at 250,000 views as of making this one, which is insane. That typically does not happen, so I really appreciate it. I'm glad that video resonated with everyone that saw it, because that is something that I think everyone that watched that video and enjoyed it is feeling about Call of Duty, about Activision Blizzard, about Microsoft, hell, about modern AAA gaming as a whole. And I covered it and I summarized it and put it into like a 25-minute video package, and I'm just glad that it got out there and got seen. So this video, I kind of want to get seen as well, because I don't usually do what I'm going to do here, all right? What I'm going to do here is I'm going to talk about an individual, and I don't do this because I don't really like drama, man. I'm getting too old for that stuff. I don't really mess with other people. I don't talk about them, but this person's been subtweeting and just has overall been a little shit for the past, like, couple years as it pertains to me. I can only think it's jealousy, and I'm going to just kind of show you guys an unbiased account of what happened, okay? Now, not only that, we are going to get into some anecdotal evidence. Anecdotal evidence because this is something that a lot of Call of Duty fanboys will use to kind of argue stuff. Anecdotal evidence doesn't really mean a lot, but we're going to fight fire with fire here, and we're going to kind of clap back with our own anecdotal evidence. Before I get into the meat and potatoes, though, I want to plug my long-term sponsor, GamerSupps. If you guys like big titty anime waifus, nice shaker cups, fantastic caffeinated energy supplements. They have ramen as well. They have sleep support supplements if you want to wind down after a long gaming session into the wee hours of the morning and that blue light is messing with your circadian rhythm. You can go to gamersupps.gg/blametruth. Use code BLAMETRUTH at checkout for 10% off your order. That supports me. That supports this amazing company that hires real artists for their work. No AI slop here like in Call of Duty. And right now, if you buy any GG tub, you'll get a free waifu cup with your purchase. So head on over there, and thank you guys for the support and using my code for the past couple months as well. It's definitely helped with the passing of my dog and stuff like that, and not being able to work on videos as much as I'd like. So really appreciate it. If you want to support me and this amazing company, use my code at checkout. But now let's get back to the video. So you guys are probably used to seeing this screenshot on my channel at this point. We've been using it for the past several months, but for good reason. I seriously can't believe how bad this game is performing on the only metric we can track it on, which is Steam charts. We have dipped into record lows, and we won't stop. There's no floor to this. There's absolutely no floor. Now, what's interesting about all of this is this coincides with a rumor that we covered in the last video about Warzone potentially losing support if Verdansk fails. And Warzone's been bleeding players a lot, and it bled players quite a bit in the past, a couple of years ago, which we'll get into in a bit. But back when it was bleeding players then, Steam charts was not even this bad. The player count was double what it is now on Steam charts when these rumors like of Warzone really shitting the bed and losing support and players leaving in droves started circulating. So now with leakers saying that Warzone's in a lot of trouble and Call of Duty is kind of scrambling to retain players and whatnot, now that that's here and it's coinciding again with this huge dip in the players on Steam charts, it's safe to say that Steam charts, while not accurate for every platform, represents the overall trend. On consoles, Call of Duty kind of hangs around number 2, sometimes number 1, but the issue with consoles is that it does not paint the full picture, and console is now in the minority for player counts as far as Call of Duty is concerned. Like, the issue I have with console numbers is that there's nothing to fucking play on consoles. If you look at this list of top 10 games, I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5's still there. You got free-to-play stuff like Fortnite, Marvel Rivals, Roblox. You have a bunch of yearly sports titles like NBA 2K, Madden NFL 25. You got Minecraft still. I mean, console is the ultimate casual playground. Not to mention, Call of Duty is sticking like the past 3 titles in Warzone, into that Call of Duty HQ. I actually saw a screenshot where Every game dating back to Modern Warfare 2019 was in that HQ, so are they counting those now? It doesn't paint an accurate picture for how the newest game is doing when they package all this shit into one launcher. Someone could be on playing like Modern Warfare 2019 campaign, and it looks good for Black Ops 6. Half the Black Ops 6 player population could leave Black Ops 6 multiplayer because it sucks ass and gives them AIDS and go back to Modern Warfare 3, which was a pretty good game when it was all said and done. And that doesn't indicate that Black Ops 6 is doing well. We can't gauge what the fuck's going on. On top of the game still coming out for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. On top of everything being always online. On top of the games being perpetually on sale for like $20. If the game's not selling well, Activision will almost give it away just to like prop up their numbers. They're a bunch of narcissistic suits, man. They know every trick in the fucking book except telling the truth and being honest with what's going on. So they have all of these like shortcuts that make the game look like it's killing it as far as consoles go, but on Steam charts, this thing can't even break into the top 10 anymore. It's like falling faster than I can keep up with. It's because on PC, which is the dominant platform for Call of Duty and is the platform that's, actually growing where consoles are stagnating, it's not performing well. People are leaving in droves. Other people will point out that Warzone doesn't perform well on Steam. Like, there's a lot of performance issues as far as frame rate goes for the Steam version of Warzone. And here's the thing, I don't play Warzone, so I don't know. I play Black Ops 6 when I have to, and it's fine on Steam. I mean, I personally buy all my games if I can on Steam because I like having everything in one hub, and Steam's like the biggest fucking, game market ever. Yet people will make these excuses and say people are playing on Battle.net. They left Steam to go play on Battle.net and without any hard data, without any numbers or whatever. I mean, that's a lot of faith in people, for one, to, delete this 400 gigabyte Albatross on one platform and then get it on another platform and re-download it, and it takes some people probably several hours to do so. It's just, you're assuming that they get bad performance on Steam and then want to go to Battle.net instead of just like giving up on the game entirely, because on PC there's actually competition. When there's competition, Call of Duty fucking fails, and Steam charts proves that. Okay? Like, it does. Not to mention, psychologically, it does not make sense to see this gradual decline. When Warzone came out, apparently it's been suffering from performance issues as far as frame rate goes since it came out. When did Warzone drop again? Was it November? You don't see this steady decline in players when there's a performance issue like that. If people care about the performance issues on Steam charts as far as Warzone goes, they're going to switch platforms in the first couple of weeks, maybe a month at tops. You don't see this gradual decline that you see like how it's happening here. I mean, it's just not true. We saw this same gradual decline with Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2, 2022 Electric Boogaloo, It's Dorbin Time. That's the full title. I don't know if you guys know that, but that's the official full title. But we saw the same decline with that and Warzone 2. And that game and Warzone at the time did not have performance issues on Steam as far as I know. People stopped playing the games because it fucking sucked. Why can't the fanboys just admit people stop playing these games where we can track it because the games fucking suck? They suck my ass through a straw. Man. I mean, guys, I knew some people behind the scenes with Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, and then with the player count double what it is now on Steam charts, they were worried. The player counts had dipped so much, and now they've dipped even further. The other big excuse people use is that Steam charts represent some made-up fucking number, like 5% of the player base. We did the math and found the actual Steam charts cut of the pie, and it's about 15 to 20%. I mean, that's what it was a couple years ago, at least. Could be more, could be less. I would doubt it's less than 15%. I would bank on it being more, around 20%, because of the growth we've seen with PC gaming in the past couple years. Like every single year, more and more people seem to be switching to PC, and it makes sense. It's just the way it goes, you know? Like consoles don't represent that good value anymore. Consoles are kind of there for the casual player and maybe somebody who doesn't have a lot of money. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I'm sorry. I own a console or two. Don't hate me for that, but it's true. It's damn true. But why am I bringing this up, though? Because JGod has been throwing some shade at me with subtweets and insults and stuff for the past couple of years. He is a YouTuber that covers mainly Warzone, mainly a data guy, and I try my best to be respectful and friendly, and it doesn't do a lot of good with some of these guys. It's only a few of them, but I seem to always have this like pushback from these data guys, especially. I don't know if they can't handle when I outdata them and find stuff and prove them wrong. I don't know if they can't handle the fact that I cover conspiracy theory stuff that sometimes ends up being right. For example, the AI bot thing, I covered that a lot in Modern Warfare 3, and I made a lot of assumptions, and I did as much testing as I could with what I had, and it turns out it was probably true because we found guaranteed proof of that, and you can watch that video if you want. I'll link it at the end of this video in the random video section or whatever. But yeah, we found AI bots years later. Who's to say they weren't testing them? Like, we're guinea pigs. They've literally said they test shit all the time with matchmaking and whatnot, and they don't inform us. We don't know about it. We are literal guinea pigs playing this game. Is SBMM off? Are the people we are playing real people? We don't know sometimes. Now, keep in mind, guys, I don't really promote my Twitter. I don't have a lot of followers, and I'm ratioing this guy with several 100,000 followers on Twitter, which is already kind of sad, but I just don't understand where this came from. I don't understand the backtracking. I don't understand the ghosting once I did prove him wrong, but I'm just going to show you guys this, out in the open, and you can judge how you want. So this guy brings up the point which we already discussed about consoles, and this isn't the first time he's done this. He's basically said, I'm lying to you guys and just playing a character, and I'm not giving you my real opinions. Bullshit. I always give my genuine thoughts and my actual opinion on stuff. I have two goals here on this channel. One, to be entertaining. Two, to be honest with you guys. That's why you like me. So to say that already, he's not in my good graces. But then I see this. This guy says, aren't they #1 on consoles? Aren't there notable performance issues on Steam causing some of the player base to go to Battle.net? We don't know if they're going to Battle.net, hanging up the gloves entirely, or what. So that's a ridiculous statement. We don't have the data. You can't just make up data we don't have. Well, you can't make up numbers we don't have. But regardless, JGod says, quit shilling. That's sarcasm, of course. Also, why use logic when you can intentionally misinterpret the numbers for personal gain? Oh, we're going to come back to that there, J-Fraud. COD clearly isn't as popular as it should be, but come on. I responded to this, and I mean, guys, this speaks for itself. I found this motherfucker doing the exact same thing I'm doing, but it was 2 years ago when the player count was higher. Like double what it is now. So I say, is this you in the screen grabs? I guess it's okay when you reference Steam numbers and say the game is dying, and this is when the player count was fucking double what it is now. The player count leaked during this MW2 Warzone 2 downtrend via a video game history museum in Spain, OXO Museum, legit place. Numbers directly from Activision. We were able to deduce the Steam player pool with some simple division with the live player count at the time of this screenshot. It's a good chunk of the player base, nearly 20%, and we can assume PC players have increased more over the years. Kodak's testimony about player pool divide also backs this up. A little research goes a long way. A lot easier to subtweet me and be a huge tool, though. Been seeing you do that like a weirdo for a while now, on brand. And here are the screenshots, by the way. I mean, it's from Insider Gaming and from Twitter, as you can see. I don't understand the hypocrisy here. This just seems like jealousy to me. I have nothing else to say other than, why are you attacking me for something you literally have done when the game was in a much healthier state? The kicker of this is that Ghost of Hope talked about the player count being in trouble 2 years ago, and is now reporting the same thing, and suddenly this JFraud guy is not buying the rumor now, even though the fucking Steam numbers are half of what they were initially. That makes no sense. It's clear bias and dishonesty. He replies like a girl on Facebook complaining about their cheating boyfriend without actually saying that he's a cheating boyfriend. He says, "Sorry, but we know you intentionally act like you don't understand. It's okay because it's predictable." And I reply with, "The first time you don't subtweet me like a pussy, and it's the worst retort I've ever heard." Nice. And going back to that for your own personal gain thing, here he is saying the same shit in his titles. Warzone, it might actually be over 1 month ago with a serious black and white portrait, like he's Oppenheimer watching the fucking nuke drop. He says, "I know you aren't new to YouTube and understand that a title and thumbnail are used for people to click a video." And I say, then why are you getting pissy at me for covering the only hard numbers we have here, as well as the rumor that Warzone is losing support if the numbers don't recover? It's very hypocritical. This entire thing could also be fixed if Activision had the balls to just display player counts on all platforms like Fortnite does. But deception is baked into everything they do at this point. My Twitter is right here, and my DMs can be opened if you have a problem and or want to talk like adults. Not a fan of the subtweeting behavior, to be honest. I've seen it several times from you pertaining to me, and it's a bit silly. He says, "Not offended in the slightest. I find the gimmick honestly hilarious. I know you are just a normal dude that plays up a character, which is fine. It has worked and will continue to work. Better than chasing views by being a hacker hunter and tearing down people." And that's a bit backtracky after a lot of the stuff he said at first. It's coming across like he got caught and he's like, now sorry. But whatever, I say thanks. I appreciate that, genuinely. I like you data guys as well, but it seems like that isn't always reciprocated. I turn it up to 11 with the persona, but my opinions are my genuine thoughts. And I've seen you say how they aren't before, which rubs me the wrong way. So this goes a little deeper though. So earlier on, before this, he says, and this is in response to this guy kind of calling him out. "Sorry, I don't think Steam represents 100% of the COD player base." When have I ever said that? I say, no one said it did. I broke it down for you in the tweet and you failed to respond with any sort of logic after. He says, "You didn't show how you deduced 20%. We'll have to agree to disagree." It doesn't work like that. If you think it's remotely close to 20% of the player base on Steam, more accurate than the near 100% it feels like you push normally. Either way, numbers are terrible regardless of percent. And I explain it to him in as much detail as I can. It's pretty basic. The daily average players at the time of this player count leak, January 27th, 2023, was around 107,000 on Steam. The player count leak showed 600,000 players across all platforms, roughly at the time of the screenshot. Divide the former into the latter, and you get the Steam player count percentage, which is roughly 18%. PC gaming has been on the rise the last few years, while console has stagnated. I don't think rounding that cut up to 20% for Steam is unreasonable, but it does get muddy with Game Pass now. That's on PC as well. It's a rough estimate, but we aren't pulling numbers out of thin air here. Hell, we even deduce Steam not closing out of Call of Duty properly, thus keeping the game ghost running in the background, which further muddies things. So yeah, Call of Duty on Steam, as far as the numbers go, probably worse than it actually is. We made a video on that. It's on the channel if you want to check it out. It's a thing that I recorded on my own personal computer. I get you probably don't watch the vids, but we do our research with what little data we have. I'd love an accurate player count, but with the rumor coinciding with the huge Steam player drop, it is concerning, and I'm not going to just blame it on performance issues. People would have switched to BNet for better performance within the first week, or if they're late, the first month after the new Warzone dropped. It wouldn't be a slow bleed over the course of months here. And do I get a response to this? No. Crickets. I don't know what else to say other than if you don't watch what I'm doing on the channel, if you go by just thumbnails or a few snippets on Twitter, kindly shut the fuck up. This dude gets invited out to like official Call of Duty events. He does business directly with Activision, the same company that posted this today. We're celebrating the women who run the game because Call of Duty is for all of us. And that's a good message. That's a good message. Until you remember that several years ago, a woman ended her life due to the sexual harassment she experienced at Activision Blizzard, the parent company to this giant IP Call of Duty. I respond to this tweet saying, "You corporate scumbags don't give a shit about women, and you never will." Let's just read this here. Let's read this verbatim. This is a genuine, legit lawsuit that I covered a couple years ago. Activision Blizzard, the embattled gaming giant that Microsoft recently agreed to buy for $69 billion, is being sued by the family of an employee who died by that word, which may get me demonetized, so I'm not going to say it, with the family blaming the woman's death on sexual harassment and claiming that a supervisor then lied to detectives about his relationship with her, according to a copy of the complaint obtained by the Washington Post. The complaint, dated Thursday and filed by the parents of Carrie Monahan, a 32-year-old finance manager at Activision Blizzard, when she was found dead during a company retreat in 2017, claims that sexual harassment was a significant factor leading to her death. Monahan was first referenced, though not by name, in a California Department of Fair Employment and Housing lawsuit filed last July that accused the company of fostering a culture of sexual harassment, misconduct, and gender-based discrimination. Yeah. This is the company you're working for right now. You're working with. Everybody that works with Activision Blizzard is basically saying that this thing that happened is okay. And this isn't the only thing they've done. I mean, you can find controversy after controversy with this company. I personally would not work with them. I don't think it's morally right. So with all due respect, anyone that directly works with these people, I don't really give a fuck what you think. Keep looking like Velma after she transitions, stay on your channel, and shut the fuck up. Let's get into the anecdotal evidence part of this video. This is what I see more than anything. People will say like, none of my friends play the game on Steam, so nobody plays the game on Steam, or something ridiculous like that. It's like saying, boy, that Golden Corral buffet was delicious. World hunger does not exist because I am stuffed. It's the same shit. It's like such a small sample size, it does not matter, okay? I mean, look at this fucking clown here. I don't know who the hell this is. I've seen him whining on Twitter as well, though, about the state of Warzone. So again, hypocrisy is just overflowing with these brain-rotted fucking retards. But I digress. I'm a PC player and I've never ever used Steam to play COD. Wow, amazing. I drive a motor vehicle and I've never crashed head-on into someone drunk. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen, you fucking moron! And Jay God, of course, subtweeting again saying, it works, so it makes sense. So let me do some anecdotal evidence, all right? Let's do some anecdotal evidence here. Let's go over my friends list. We're going to cover Xbox, where Call of Duty is number one. We're going to go over my Xbox friends list. We're going to go over my Battle.net friends list. And we're going to go over my Steam friends list. And we're going to see who's playing Call of Duty, okay? Now, all of my friends over the years, and I've made these friends over the course of the past decade or so, maybe even more than that, all are Call of Duty fans, pretty much. I don't really have a lot of friends that game that don't at least dabble in Call of Duty. It would make sense, would it not? Me being a guy who's known for Call of Duty, I meet most of the people I know online through that game. So let's go over the entire friends list for all three platforms and see what sort of anecdotal data we get. But before I get into that, I often reference Steam charts and even the Twitch viewership numbers. So let's do something a little bit different. Let's cover the subreddit numbers. Yeah, let's cover the active members on the subreddit. I took this screenshot, and I'm going to compare it to Marvel Rivals, by the way. I took this screenshot, I think it was around 10 p.m. a few days ago. I think it was Tuesday when I took these screenshots, and I took the Marvel Rivals screenshot at the exact same time. Let's just compare this really quickly, okay? The Black Ops 6 subreddit at the time of this screenshot had 66 people online out of 830,000 people that chose to follow this subreddit. At the same time, the Warzone subreddit has 38 people online out of 1.4 million. At the same time, I went to the Marvel Rivals subreddit and I took a screenshot. 1.5k people online out of less than either of these subreddits in members. At a certain point, we have to concede that maybe Call of Duty is doing a lot worse than we initially think. Because every single time we see a number, an actual verified number as it pertains to this series, it is well below where it should be for a game this size. Like, we can't just make up like the fact that the numbers aren't there for Steam, the numbers aren't there on the subreddits. Like, you know what I mean? It's not something I can just make up. It's literal fucking evidence that maybe this game has lost a lot of trust, a lot of players, a lot of everything in 2025. Can we just admit that it's down bad? The quicker we all admit it, the quicker that we maybe get back on track and get a decent Call of Duty game, or at the very least, start a massive change in their shitty business model. Like, you know what I mean? But no, let's cover the friends list thing, okay? Like, this is probably the best. I hopped on Xbox Live on the web just to see who was playing Call of Duty and who last played Call of Duty as their last game or whatever. And my Xbox friends list, I think, is about maxed out. So whatever the max is, I believe it's 500. Correct me if I'm wrong there in the comments, but it's around 500. I think 480 something, though, because I still get the random friend request on there from strangers and whatnot, which, you know, it's showing it's going through. So there's that. Let's actually look at who has played Call of Duty, okay? This person, last seen 31 days ago, playing Call of Duty. This person was last seen 26 days ago, playing Call of Duty. This person was seen 21 hours ago, playing Call of Duty. No one on my entire friends list was playing Call of Duty actively when I checked it. We have one person on my Xbox friends list. By the way, again, these are mostly Call of Duty fans on my Xbox friends list. One person that has played the game in the last day, week, several weeks. That's it. That's it. Now, let's check Battle.net, shall we? I have less friends on Battle.net. I think around like 90, 100, something like that. But I do have friends on here. Yeah, 97, as the screenshot says. No one, absolutely no one, zero, zilch, nada, is playing Call of Duty when I actively checked it. One friend's playing Diablo. That's it. Okay. Let's check Steam. This is all taken at the same time, by the way. And I just verified by checking the properties of this image when it was saved that all of these images were taken March 7th, 2025 at 4 p.m., 3:59 p.m. Absolutely no one that's online playing a game is playing Call of Duty on Steam. Now, maybe that argument's going to work against me here. Like, nobody plays the game on Steam, right? But Steam does have this neat little feature, which I'm going to cover right now and show you. So on Steam here, 46 friends have played Call of Duty previously. 4 friends have played recently, and I think that's the last 2 weeks. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Not sure how Steam gauges that, but I imagine it's no longer than a month. But 4 people have played recently. That is more than what I saw on Xbox. That is more than what I saw on Battle.net, although we don't have, you know, the entire data set there that Steam's giving us. Yet still, we see 46 people who don't fucking play it anymore, and 4 people that play it. This is on Steam. We have more people who have recently played it than my other friends list on other platforms that I can deduce at least. But like, this is what I'm saying. This is all anecdotal. It doesn't really matter. But if we're going to bring up anecdotal evidence, I will do it all damn day, motherfuckers. Call of Duty sucks. People are leaving the game in droves. End of story. I want to nail Phil Spencer to the fucking cross.